Never tuck your town, I showed you that. Just here to put the city on the map. You bumping up your chest, boy, just relax. For your benefit, just keep it rap. There were some dark days and some hard days. And like this feeling days, you couldn't make it on Broadway. Big Brett Bronson, the bully, they can't belittle me. Plotting to get rid of me. Hottest in 2 industries, hottest for 2 decades, with scriptures for 2 centuries. Just to get the message, clap messengers and who sent for me. Success is not the purest form of payback. These weirdos supposed to say they wouldn't say that. Keep it clean and never bring dirt where you lay at. The way we move and you would think we link with
Victor
Dempsey.
Shout out to Victor Dempsey. Yo.
Thank you for pulling up, brother, man.
Yo, and that intro's free, by the way, man. You know what I'm saying? DSP with the intros. Shout out to the chat, people tuned in.
Word.
What's going on, Vic? How you feeling, brother?
Talk about, listen, man, I appreciate the intro. It was beautiful. But I'm not here by myself. I'm with my colleague, my road dog, to do this, doing the work with me. Zaki Smith, you can introduce yourself, big bro.
Talk that talk.
Yeah, Zaki Smith, Brooklyn, New York.
Hey.
Brooklyn.
Well, here we go. Nah, just the way he said it. You know he got a Dat Piff. He got a Dat Piff mixtape somewhere. You heard how we said that.
Absolutely. You know Brooklyn is every
talk that talk, baby.
Let's be clear. Yeah, Zaki Smith, policy entrepreneur for the next 100. Same thing, boots on the ground, working to dismantle this raggedy ass system.
Yeah.
Whoa. Ass is okay. Ass is okay.
But this is a family-friendly
Ass is okay.
FM radio.
Yeah, we got that donation bin. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Curses cost. Curses cost.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Looking to end the perpetual punishment as it pertains to those with criminal records in a nation, you know, to be honest, but specifically working here in the state of New York. So.
Okay.
I mean, that's a good point about, because a lot of people have criminal histories, and sometimes it's not so quote-unquote criminal. You know what I'm saying?
It's legal in Cali and in Denver, but it's criminal here.
Yeah, so, some people get behind the ball, we'll say, and then it's hard to get ahead. So I'm glad that you guys are here to clear up a few things to let people know, like, yo, okay, you got behind the ball, but you could still get ahead. You could still recover, man.
Right.
So, my fault, Vic.
Nah, you Gucci, man. I just definitely want to give my brother some love in there. But yeah, man, I'm happy to be here, Brett. Thanks for taking my call. Let's talk about that one. Okay? Thanks for taking my call. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, we here now, and I'm not gonna lie, man, the intro was dope, but I'm here today because me and Brad's known each other for years now. You know what I mean? It was a time where I couldn't even start to have a conversation like this. So really, it's not just about the work, but it's about how to get to the work. It's about how to educate yourself, feel empowered enough to be able to come out and talk about the work that needs to get done. You know what I mean? So I think you guys said the best, boots on the ground. You know what I mean?
Right.
The only way that folks can get there is if we have the intelligence and the knowledge to know how to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think one thing I do want to highlight before we jump in everything else is we had a lot of killings this past week, by the hands of law enforcement.
Talk about it, bro.
And it sucks. And my mask, for those who can't see, I'm also not just an organizer, but I'm an impacted community member. My brother, Daron Small, loved Spring Valley, lived out here for a few years, also known as FUBU.
Never tuck your town.
This guy knows.
I'm just saying,
He never misses a moment. Never mind.
You feel me?
Anyways, but yeah, man, I'm also the brother of Daron Small. My brother was murdered July 4th, 2016 by an off-duty officer back in Brooklyn, New York. And I say that not for the empathy, but I say that because I was the same black man that didn't do nothing until it came to my doorstep. I say it all the time. I remember watching the news article when Eric Gardner was murdered. I was getting dressed that morning, getting ready for work. I just glanced at the news. I said, wow, they murdered another black man. And unfortunately, the rest of that day, I got dressed and went to work.
That's what a lot of people do. That's what a lot of
is.
people
But that's what the rat race is created for.
Yes.
If you create that distraction, then people don't really get to sit with their feelings and want to get together and do something.
Yep.
Bro, lately we scroll over RIPs.
Yep.
Fact.
Just keep it a buck. The way that the way that the times are now, it's like it's like death is just a regular thing now. Like,
Desensitized.
it's very desensitized.
But that's by conditioning. Think about it. The first time we ever saw an MMA fight, like UFC, we were like, "Yo, this is great." Now we see it every day, and it's like nothing. They're doing the same thing.
Knock the top off of
UFC. Exactly. Now they're just feeding us our people getting killed every week, so we desensitize.
Yeah, we normalize it. It becomes normal, something to be expected.
Yeah.
You know, so. Yeah.
So, you know, all of that, you know, today we're here to definitely speak about a bill that there's a coalition around, there's a movement around right now that Zaki and myself are proud to be a part of. And we call it the Clean Slate New York campaign.
Okay.
You know, Clean Slate New York campaign at this particular moment. It's introduced in the Assembly and the Senate. We do have sponsors, but this bill is to push for automatic expungement.
Wow.
I want to say it one more time.
Say that one more time, player.
And break
Say
that
that one more
down.
time. Say that one more time.
This bill that we're pushing now is a bill for automatic expungement.
Automatic
Clean Slate-
expungement.
The Clean Slate New York campaign is a statewide coalition fighting for automatic expungement for criminal convictions. What that means is folks who have a criminal conviction, a misdemeanor or a felony of any kind, if this bill gets pushed through, we will have the capabilities, the government will have the capabilities to wipe your criminal history clean. I don't think.
Nah, that's big.
They don't hear you on this Sunday. They don't hear you on this Sunday.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
They don't hear you on this Sunday.
You out here dropping gems. You gotta get some purple vegan mama gem drops, bro. Like that's huge, yo. That's huge, bro.
Yeah, that's
Listen
different.
to me. We're fighting
Wow.
for folks with a criminal conviction to erase it.
Wow.
So let's not a criminal conviction, criminal convictions.
So your whole record
So
just basically.
we're not. This bill is not to just say, oh, if you have one conviction or two convictions, you can have your criminal record expunged. No, we're saying multiple, pretty much unlimited, because we have to take in consideration the reality is that our communities have been over-policed, right? They have criminalized addiction, they have criminalized mental health, and they've criminalized poverty. And so,
Talk about it, brother.
if you was on drugs back in the 80s, of course you may have racked up 10 cases, right? Felonies, been up top a couple times. You understand? Came home and now you got yourself clean. You're actually working in a rehab center as a counselor. That 20 years ago, like, that person is long gone.
That's
true.
But the reality is, when you get a criminal record, it is for life.
For life.
Everyone has a life sentence. So that you didn't just get sentenced to a 2 to 4. You got sentenced to a life bid.
Word.
Pretty much. And the impact of that record affects you more severely than the prison time.
That's facts.
Because now you can't move on. You can't get a job. They can deny you housing. They can deny you anything.
Yep.
They run down you anytime they want to.
Whatever for the
Well,
rest
you could
of
get
your life.
you could get a job per se, but from this list,
Let me address
from
that
this
real
list,
quick.
you know.
Yeah.
Let me address that real quick, right?
Yep.
You're right. A lot of us can get a job.
Absolutely.
A lot of people can get work.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But with this bill, what we're pushing is for gainful, lasting employment.
Thank you.
Yes.
I wanted you to make sure that
I
there's a
think when
difference.
we talk about working,
Career.
it's a big difference. Exactly.
Yeah.
But think about a substance of life that you're living. Brad, you know me, bro. I'm from the streets. I love the intro, but I'm from the hood, man. I done been through the trenches and back.
Yeah.
I chefed for years. I worked on lines. I was a cook. I was back there. When y'all enjoying y'all hard-earned money, coming out with your ladies, spending that bread on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday night, I'm back there chefing it up.
Yeah.
I'm working overtime, double time to really, provide for myself.
Yeah.
But now my substance of life is where? You get
And
what I'm
that
saying?
on that line all the time.
We're talking
All
about
the time.
systematic oppression across the board.
Yes.
Absolutely.
This bill, it does not only address the criminal conviction status of this, but this bill has numerous purviews, right? We're looking at it as a community building type of thing. The reason why we say community building is because me and Zaki been busting our butt to do base building. That's why we drove up here. We out. We going to Rockland. Come on, let's go do it.
Yeah.
But what we're trying to tell folks is everyone has to be at the table. Everybody's voice has to be at the table. And I'm going to be real with you. We said at the top of the show, I'm not scared to talk about it. This bill is inclusive for every type of charge there is for everybody. So I'm going to be real with y'all.
When you say that's why you hear me.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about them other charges. You know what I'm saying? What about them other charges?
I'm gonna throw it out there. Yes, I'm also talking about violent murder cases.
Okay.
I'm also talking about sexual nature offenses.
Okay.
Now here's the trick. Not a trick, excuse me. I'm not saying a trick because, again,
loophole.
We're not even a loophole.
Okay.
Certain things this legislation just doesn't cover. We're not taking on the parole aspect. We're not taking on that. We can't. That's out of the purview. So, unfortunately, even though automatic expungement is going to happen and we pray that this gets passed, if you're on probation, parole, or on a registered sex offenders list, unfortunately, you will not be eligible for this.
Okay.
You have to be off of all state supervision.
Okay.
You have to be off parole. You have to be off probation.
Glad y'all clarified
you cannot be on the sex offender registry. If you're on it, you are not eligible for this particular bill.
Let me explain
no strings attached.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that plays a big part. I want dudes to know that. And again, I'm gonna keep coming back to that title. I might have to pay for that. I might need that. I might
just
need
get
that
the promo code. Just get the promo code. You know what I mean?
The reason why that is big is because I sit here today being formerly incarcerated. I sit here today being formerly gang involved. Those who know me know me. Like. They know me.
Yo, never touch the time radio. I'm trying to sit there like, you feel me? I'm trying. Remember the Snoop Dogg interview?
We got it on footage.
Yeah, everybody got a pass. You know how it goes.
Of course.
It's a fact, though. Everybody does. But again, at the same time, like my brother Zaki said, perpetual punishment has to end.
Yes.
Why do I have to be held accountable?
That is a beautiful term.
Yeah.
For mistakes that
I see you got
made
it on the
as a
shirt
child.
too, bro.
Perpetual punishment.
And perpetual punishment.
That's a crazy term.
So you bring up being held accountable, right? I want to actually just make a distinction between accountability, right? Because currently the system that we have is not about accountability.
No.
We've been led to believe that you going to prison you're being accountable, right?
Nah.
The reality is we don't have an accountability system. We have a punishment system. There's a distinction between punishment and accountability.
Yes.
Accountability means both parties are restored in this particular situation. The one who has perpetrated the crime and the victim of the crime are restored. There's some healing. Something happens. There's some restoration that happens. There's some work that actually happened. In punishment, I ain't got to do nothing but sit up and take my bid. I don't never have to think about my crime. And the person who may have been a victim of a crime that I commit will probably never be healed because the prosecution's interest is only to continue to perpetuate the system. So when it's time for me to go to parole board, what they do? They call the victim to come back and now open that wound. That is a crime.
Yo, this guy right here.
That's crazy.
But hold up, let's go deeper.
That's crazy.
Yo, it's a little different in here today. It's a little different on this Sunday.
Watch. Now we backpedal to again why it's inclusive, why everybody's voice is at the table. Again, to victims and survivors of crime. I've been a victim of a crime myself.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I perpetuated crime also. But when we talk about community building, why isn't everybody's voice there, including the folks who perpetrated? Because you want to know why? Parole and probation exists because at one day that same perpetrator will re-enter that same society. Community.
Yeah.
What are we doing to ensure a safe transition where these folks don't re-offend? Wiping the record gives a person an opportunity.
Yes.
Right.
When I first came home, I promise y'all, I went to jail at 17 years old, bro. Did 5 joints up north. When I got out, I had a violent felony. Only jobs I could honestly get was construction,
factory,
cooking.
Warehouse.
I did all
overnight,
that.
Blue collar,
and mentally, it changed my mentality. I wasn't reaching anymore. I'm just stuck. There's no, I can't get past that.
In a loop.
But
it's a low ceiling.
So that is actually intentional. The intentionality of this all is really about economics.
Building laborers.
That's why.
How can we keep this community in this economic bracket? So you cannot go above this particular plateau
because we'll always need laborers.
And look,
absolutely.
And watch this.
That's the real project.
Let me tell you something.
Feel me?
We didn't come up here like, I appreciate the candid conversation, right? But we work with numbers too.
Okay.
Oh no.
Okay,
Let me hear some numbers.
Let me hear some numbers. Lie.
Let me hear some numbers.
They don't lie. So real quick, back to some kind of this criteria of this bill, right? It's 2 tiers to this. The first tier is, let's say hypothetically speaking, just follow me. I go to court, I cop out. I take a plea bargain. 5 years. I took my 5 years. That day me getting sentenced, my time is starting on this bill. I go up north, do whatever I got to do. Now I'm getting ready to come home. But guess what? With that 5 years, I also received 5 years post-release supervision.
No, man, that sounds like 10 years.
Sounds like
That's 10 years.
Yep.
Sounds like 10 years to me.
A supervision, you feel me? So mind you, now I get home, like I said, my time starts. Within 3 years of your sentencing or your time of thing, your time will count. But right now, currently, we have a law called 160.59. That is a New York State sealing law. A lot of people don't even know it's in place, unfortunately. But right now, we have that. It currently exists. This law allows us to help folks seal criminal conviction. But here's a caveat. We can only seal up to 2 maximum convictions. That's either 1 felony conviction, non-violent, non-sexual offense.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So 1 and 1 misdemeanor. The other way we can do it is if you have 2 misdemeanors, we can get rid of those.
Okay.
Not get rid of. Sorry, I gotta watch my choice.
Seal it.
Yes.
Seal them. Yes.
But the problem with this is, again, you know how many people I know with 3 misdemeanors?
Yeah.
You know how many people I know with just a felony, an E felony, in the misdemeanor. So the current sealing law
crazy.
is very narrow. It doesn't impact New Yorkers. The process in there was, I did over 500 of them, bro. I'm not joking.
Wow.
Manually fingerprinting people, meeting with them in person, manually, finger to ink to paper.
Yep.
We got to request the rap sheets. The rap sheets come back. I survey them, see what they're eligible for. If they can't get the current sealing law, then we setting them up with either certificate of good conduct, certificate of relief, or at the very least, clean up their rap sheet.
Okay.
Boom.
Okay.
I'm going to move fast. Now the problem, so that's the first one. It's the first 1 year for a misdemeanor, we can seal it under this law. Or it's 3 years for a felony under this law to seal it. Now that's step 1. Step 2 is...
Wait, just to slow down. It's 3 years to do that process, you mean?
So under this particular law, what we're pushing right now currently, it's a 2-tier process.
Yes.
Right? The 2-tier process is 1 year for a misdemeanor. After your 1 year, if you're not on parole and probation, you can have your record sealed.
Okay.
Sealed so that you can get into, you can start work.
Yeah.
Correct.
Real work.
You start your career.
So businesses can no longer, they cannot see your record.
Yes.
Right?
That's perfect.
For felons, it's 3 years.
Okay.
Sealed.
Okay.
Right?
Gotcha.
After that is what we call full expungement. So for misdemeanors, it's 3, and for felons, it's 7.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It's 7 years for full-on expungement. So systems operators and so forth and so on can no longer see your record.
Oh, wow.
So what he was also talking about in the current bill, there's a bill that many individuals, like you said, had no knowledge of, 150.69, which he said
150.69 for all my guys out there. Y'all know who y'all look that up.
Sorry, 160.59.
160.59. Look that up.
And so in this particular bill, you're only able to seal 2, like he said, 2 convictions. The problem with it is, like he just finished saying, he did 500 of them, right? When the bill came, it was over 600,000 people in New York would be eligible to receive relief from this particular bill.
Do those numbers again? 65,000?
600,000.
Oh, 600,000 were eligible, and only 3,500
from 2017 to date, right?
Wow.
And so because
that's
just like
crazy.
he was explaining,
Information they don't know.
Yeah,
it's not even that. The fact is, and this is why we're doing automatic, because like he said, if a person don't know that services like this exist, you're a lay person. You have to actually do this yourself. So the people who don't take advantage of it is who? The people of color, the communities of color who don't have access to attorneys.
Let me throw this in there real quick, right? Because I'm all about breaking it down. So, cause I need our community members, the listeners, the watchers, to let it resonate with you. The sealing process is a manual process. I have to fingerprint them. I have to do this.
Correct.
People who don't know, they got to go hire an attorney. They got to get this. That costs money.
A lot of money per hour.
So now we talked about that economic bias earlier.
Yes.
People in the hood, we got other problems.
That's
we
a
got to
fact.
make sure our
Gotta
lights
keep the
stay on.
lights on and the food on the table.
I'm not affording that with my overnight job.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now automatic expungement, we don't got to think about it. It just happens.
Wow.
It just happens.
Wow.
You feel what I'm saying?
The same way as parole does. The same way as my release date does.
Yep.
All of that has an end. It has an end date.
And
right?
now, and also, let's add it in this when we talk about numbers. We didn't just come
makes
up
sense.
with this 7 years out of thin air. Statistics show that the average convicted persons who return to society, if they have not reoffended, within 3 years, chances are after their 7th year, they're rehabilitated in some format.
Yeah.
And to me, when I look at my life, I'm like, oh, that's right. Because I'm going to be real. I first came home, I was doing all right.
Yeah.
I was dibbing and dabbling, trying to do what I do. I got violated. I went back. You know what I'm saying? The violation hurt me the most. I did 5 years. Then I was home for a little bit. And then they sent me back up to the boot camp for 6 months. I lost more stuff within the 6 months than I did for 5 years. So now, fast forward, I come back home again. I'm not going back. I can't do this. So now I'm way past. I surpassed 7 years already.
Yeah.
I'm Gucci, but guess what, fellas? With this current civil law, remember we said we can't sell violent felonies or sex offenses.
Correct.
I still have a violent felony on my record. I traveled the country helping people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on committees. I'm with elected officials. I do all that.
Yeah.
And
So
can't get relief for yourself.
can't get relief for myself under the current laws.
That's crazy.
But what the message is, seriously, man, the message is, it's not only about us giving the knowledge. It's about how do I give the knowledge back to folks so they can give it to other people.
So they can apply it.
We can do whatever we want to do. But the problem is, again, we have to address these systems. We have to address that. I'm fortunate to be in a position because I was around folks. I'm not going to lie. Like I said earlier, I watched Eric Garner get killed on the news, and I went to work. I didn't get active till it came to my doorstep when they took my brother from me. And I can't hold you. My brother's the reason why I'm sitting here with y'all today. Real talk. Because I said I can never get my brother back. He's not coming back.
And you don't want to see that happen.
But I don't need none of y'all getting the same fall I got before.
Word.
I don't need my 5-year-old son doing this type of fight 20 years from now. So what can I do today?
Yeah.
So that's what I ask everybody now. What do we do today?
That's powerful.
And also when we talk about like getting involved, like, listen, man, reality, everybody's not going to be an activist. That's just not what it is.
It's not for everybody, because you got to be a leader to be an activist.
You got to be front line.
Everybody's not going to be boots on the ground, right? And so a lot of people, a lot of times in the community, we figure like if we not that, then we just do nothing, or we're just disengaged with the system, but rightfully so disengaged with the system because this is the same system that has ostracized us, so there's a lack of trust in it. But what we're saying is that if your voice isn't at the table, somebody will utilize their voice
to represent for you.
So we're not saying, hey, come out and protest. No, you don't even have to do that. Listen, just know who your local elected official is in your community. Period. Know who that person is and know the things that has impacted your community so that this person is held accountable in addressing it from a policy. Because listen, whether you believe it or not,
important.
Everything is rooted in a policy and some language somewhere. If you are impacted in any kind of way, there's somebody that wrote something that park over there is twisted because the policy was written or was not written.
That's right.
Simple.
Period. And so,
bars today.
So I'm just saying, like, we just need to be aware, at least on just a basic level, and just be registered to vote and understand who you voting for and who's representing you.
Who's really out there to help you.
Yes.
They work for you, right? Don't just vote and think, hey, they're going to go in there and they're going to do X, Y, Z. No, you can go right to their door and say, hey, listen, this building over here, or this is impacting us here. This is what we need. We need legislation to address this particular situation. So,
we used to have a 5-star mixtape called "Who Represents You." Man, funny. Funny.
I want to paint another picture. I'm being real. I'm always conscious of time. Time is money, baby.
And just because I feel y'all rushing through, I feel like we got to have them back as the only guests so y'all can really talk that talk for the full 2 hours.
See, that what I told you, bro. Though you don't got to say that. I told you got to set. I set these things up, player. I said, don't worry about that. Because behind the scenes, he was like, yo, man, I don't know, man. I think I'm going to need more time. I said, don't worry about this. You're going to get through this, and they're going to tell you need more time. So don't worry about it. Trust me. Yeah, that's why I looked at him like, I told you.
You know what? I'm not gonna hold you. We do this regularly. Like we'll send.
This is our intro. This is just an intro. DSP.
Nah,
DSP.
That's what I'm about. I'm about empowerment. I'm about spreading, like he said, everybody's not a leader, but again, some people might be good at communication. Some people might be good at graphics. Yeah. Anything to get the message.
Anything to help.
The talent.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
But the biggest thing in full circle for everything. Why does it matter today, right? Let me tell y'all something. Real talk. So, like you said in the intro, I work for a legal defense firm. This is a real document. Real document. We wrote something up after the young man, rest in peace, Adam Toledo out of Chicago, a little 13-year-old young man that was murdered.
R.I.P.
You know what I mean? R.I.P. Wayne Wright, also murdered out in Minneapolis. 20-year-old young man, a father, a son, a brother.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I bring that up because this bill also reflects our youth. This bill also reflects our family members. In both of those situations, matter of fact, forget rest in peace to those folks, but think about this. Yeah. Every time you've seen a black or brown person murdered and they airing it on the media, what do they do to the victim that's murdered? What do you hear in the news?
They criminalize them. They try
first thing is the background check.
It's
they deserved it almost.
You get them? Like real talk.
It's always the background check first.
But what you don't hear is these officers' records. These officers, these cities that's paying out hundreds of millions of taxpayers' dollars.
Exactly.
You don't hear that.
Nope.
So another thing that we're saying is, and the murder of Wright. Yeah. The officer said, it was because of air freshener hanging the thing. Yeah. But, he also had a misdemeanor warrant.
Yeah. And I was like, what does that have to do with anything?
But I bet you if they got these things. Anyway, like you're saying.
Yeah. So I'm saying that think about a bill like this that's impactful to somebody where, all right, I know I have a felony. But I'm not going to lie to you. You roll with me. See how I drive? I drive smooth. I'm out. But in the back of my mind, I drive looking at the side of the road.
You feel me?
I don't want to be pulled over. I don't want anything misconstrued. I don't. So imagine we had a bill that just clears your record so our officer doesn't have a reason to engage with our community members. Yeah. Now this bill goes into saving lives.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And again, I want to backtrack because to me it's extremely important. Talking to victims and survivors of crimes.
Yep.
I need to hear their voice. I want them to call and I want them to check in because you know what? Maybe you have a suggestion. Maybe you have an answer actually.
Maybe they have
maybe a different perspective.
But this bill is not any erasure of trauma. We can't take that away. But we want to acknowledge it and say we have to do better as a people to make sure our communities aren't being, not only do we have to worry about what's going on in the community, we got to worry about the police too. Yeah. Something got to give.
Yeah, that's true.
And the truth of the matter is like we have to take in consideration the only depiction, the only victim of crime that is being depicted in media is only one type of victim, and that is the very vengeful, right? This vengeful, and not saying that individuals don't have the right to be in that space, but that is the only victim that we get to see as if this is the only type of victim, but that victim only supports the current system that exists. There are plenty victims of crime who are speaking abolition of prisons, want relief for formerly incarcerated, want healings, who have overcome some of the obstacles, but you don't see or hear that victim. You hear the crying mother who has lost her child, or the crying father who is saying they want, blood on their hands. You hear that. So now it continues to echo the punishment system that exists now, right? But the thing is, we need to really take control of the narrative and show that no, there's more than one victim of crime, and we're not taking away from anyone's pain and trauma and how they feel, because rightfully so. But when the system is absent of providing healing to get people beyond that process, how is it again that a person can come 10, 20, and again, we don't want to put a time limit on a person's healing, but what has been the responsibility of the state to say, how do we take this person through a process of healing so that 10 years from now, they're not day one as if the incident has happened?
That's so true, though. Now that he's
how does that happen?
I never ever see
that is
them
criminal.
Asking what can we do for the victim?
But they don't want to do that because how do they keep this narrative going so that the next time it happens again, they can do the same thing? How are they going to keep making money?
Safety.
Exactly.
Right? There's this safety.
Y'all want to know something else too, really quick? Because it's a lot. It's a lot to happen.
It is.
I was just talking to Brad not too long ago. Right here in Rockland County. You know what I mean? I was just speaking with some members of the NAACP Spring Valley chapter.
Shout out
to Calvin. Shout out to
huge shout out to them.
Yoga.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But I just started working with them. You know, right now here, they're fighting against the school system.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're fighting the school system.
We know.
They're saying that the education system in Rockland is the new Jim Crow of education.
It is.
Yeah. The public school system is not getting what they deserve out here.
Yeah.
At all.
Not at all.
It's serious.
But then
They don't have any
You want to know
program.
how real serious it is? I'm going to let y'all do the homework on it. Look at the board members. Look at who sits
Yes.
on that board.
Oh, we already know.
man.
We already know.
we know.
Yeah.
We know.
Real
We
talk.
know. Yeah,
You
it's
already know.
crazy.
So now
It's
we're talking
crazy.
about education. Education.
Yes,
Education
the
and
foundation.
equity.
Yes.
Just giving our kids
Yes.
a chance from the beginning so they don't have to worry about all the suppressive systems while they're trying to
But
live
we
life.
need our own schools, bro.
but
We need our own curriculum. We need teachers, our own teachers. We need our own police. We need our own ambulance. We need to build our own.
The reality is this too, right? As we talk about crime, we talk about safety. The thing is that we need to talk about also the contributors, the things that breed crime. And so one of the major things, we talk about one of the major things that are breeders that fuel crime is how do we get the poorest of education?
Yes.
Right? So when we look in the 80s, when we're talking about economics, we're talking about education. If you can go and do the research,
Yeah, of
like
course.
all of the schools was being closed and defunded.
Yes.
It wasn't right. And what were they doing at this particular time? They were opening up all of the prisons upstate.
Yeah.
80,
What?
85.
What do you-
look,
Yes.
look at when the prisons were starting to open upstate under
Reagan?
Cuomo, his father,
His dad.
83, 4,
Oh,
5,
man.
6,
Never tuck
7.
your town radio.
Talk that talk.
Listen to me.
Talk that talk.
This is not.
You're going to get us in trouble, bro. He already took our bridge. He already took our bridge, man. You going to get us in trouble, bro.
I'm just putting it out there. And so we have to look at the things that breed crime. We have to also take in consideration the things that breed violence, right? And so the things that breed violence is what? Isolation, exposure to violence, inability to meet one's economic needs.
Poverty, yep.
You understand what I'm
Wow.
saying?
That's
Sounds like the projects. Could that be the project?
Hold on. And what is the penitentiary? Isolation,
Violence.
exposure to violence,
Oh, no.
and then inability to meet
poverty, yeah.
So I'm just saying.
And then wait, as you're saying that, right? You know what's funny to me? Like when you think about like past, like slavery, right?
Yeah.
And then you were at your master's plantation, and then when it was time for you to be free, just like when you get out of jail and you're quote unquote free, they just release you.
To what?
To
No
what?
plan, yeah.
Where you released to?
To nothing.
What are you doing when you're released? And then you're released with this stamp because you were branded back then, right? But now the new branding is your felony.
Yep.
So now you're released with this new branding. So how do you get a job? Where are you going to work?
Yep.
How are you going to provide for your family? So of course you're going to go back to what you know, as usual, to get that fast money, to keep this thing going.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then you get caught up again. You go do another bid. Usually by your second one, you figure it out. Like, all right, this ain't the thing for me. You get out. You want to do what you got to do. But now you can't.
Yeah.
Because you still got this record.
you're
Now it's
stuck.
10 years
You're
later. You've been out that game. You've been out that life. You're not even thinking about that. But you're stuck
record.
because of this
And
thing on
again,
your
what is
record.
it?
It's
What
crazy.
is it? Perpetual punishment. It's
Crazy.
everlasting.
Perpetual punishment,
But
yes.
the other piece
Crazy.
that we didn't even really get into is the collateral consequences of this. It's deeper than that. And we know people that can't get housing, like housing applications. People forget. They look at
Yes.
criminal record for where you want to live at.
Yeah.
Housing, professional licensing. Your favorite barber.
Wow.
Guess how he became a barber?
You got a license.
He's registered in the Department of Labor. He submitted his background check.
Yeah.
Your home health aides, the people that
Yes.
take care of your elders.
Yeah.
That's professional licensing.
Yeah.
But the other thing that we also talk about when we speak to our legislators is the tax revenue.
Oh, no, not the tax revenue.
Money.
Yeah.
We're not coming off, but we're trying to come off a pandemic.
Yeah.
And nobody was working. Businesses shut down.
Yes.
Correct.
The
Talk about
playing field needs to be level for people that's coming back to work. But guess what? The statistics say that an average white Caucasian male with a felony
Uh-oh.
will get a job before an African American man with no conviction history.
Absolutely.
Statistics, and that's 1 in 7.
Whoa, and that's numbers.
That's called organic connections.
This up. This is
that's 1 in 7. Real talk.
Numbers don't lie.
That's crazy.
1 in 7. Seriously.
That's
crazy.
So this bill
but it's
again,
not crazy because if you think about what they've been doing to us, it's
not crazy,
bro. That's why we need our own
organic connections,
this
man.
is
We
what
talking
we're here to
CEOs
talk
talk to
about.
CEOs. You know the rules, man.
This is what we're trying to explain to people. You know, it's not just the criminal impact. It's not just, you know, dealing with the past. It's more than that.
Yeah.
Bro. It's more than that. We're saying let's have some kind of economic equity in communities that need it so they can thrive.
Yes.
We're talking about this bill really affects people in 100 ways.
Yeah. No, it definitely,
and we won't know until we really start to push and have those conversations. But when we talk about the more people that's working in your municipality, the more taxes is coming in there. Mm-hmm. Why are we not giving people that? Everybody wins. It's a win-win situation.
Yes.
You don't want us to work because you rather just put us in the jail and make us work for $2 a week,
10 cents a day.
That's what you rather do to us.
Fly stuck to the face.
Correct.
It's not about you winning.
It's about power.
Just if we look at numbers again, you know, like it's 2.3 million individuals in the state of New York with a criminal record. So we're talking about, you know, a bill of this net magnitude will bring about relief for many individuals in the state. It's past due,
but
they're doing this. They're doing this all over. You know what I mean? They're doing it in other states.
It's so crazy to me. This is crazy, man.
Michigan just got passed.
Just thinking about this is crazy. 2.5 million, right? You just got to think about this in a. All right, so that's 2.5 million laborers, though.
Yes.
Right. So you got to remember when they're thinking about this bill, they're gonna think like, damn, that means that's 2.5 million people that now I got to give like real jobs to. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just thinking about it from their angle. Why? Like how dare they? You know what I'm saying? That's so crazy. Like. I don't know.
But you know what? The country needs it though. The city needs it. It's not even, now they can't argue it because we're so behind in the deficit.
Yes.
Why would you even argue that? Yeah. We got readily able people that can work.
Yeah.
And you want them not to do nothing? You want them to keep committing crimes?
Yes, because they keep the power. They keep making their money because they're gonna make the money off the privately owned prisons anyway. And then they put you in basically slave labor. They're gonna let you work for that $2 a week, like you said. Mm-hmm. And they still got the power. They still got their products. They good.
Mm-hmm. $2 a week, player, and you get a raise if you work in the kitchen.
Crazy.
A raise. And then the crazy thing is, like I was watching the joint with Wallow when he was like, yeah, you be in the jail with all these dudes that, you know, when they were out, like they had it. You feel me? Yeah. And then now you busting the table for $1. You know what I mean? But then when you get out, you like, you don't want to go get a job.
Going hard too.
You know what I'm saying?
For that buck.
That's
going
crazy.
Hard for that buck in the can. Yep. Yeah, you working and making sure you on time and
that's crazy.
And all of that.
But you know what?
But then you come out and you don't want to, you know.
Word.
Not saying that everybody should do something to get their paper. Let me not ever get that confused. But you got to figure it out. You got to figure out your lane, figure out what you need to do, figure out the parameters of what you're doing, and do it right. Because this longevity money is where it's at.
Real quick, right? I know our time is probably coming
do your thing.
Now,
do your thing.
I posted this up on my Instagram the other day because, you know, because of the trauma with my brother and my family, we go through it. Every time someone's murdered in America, we feel it. It's like we get it over again. But I read this the other day because I was thinking about it. I'm like, why nobody's out here like we was last year? But then I remember we was in the pandemic. Nobody had to go to work. Exactly. Nobody had to go to school. Exactly. But then I read this and it makes sense. Hear me out. It said, I don't know if America really ever pauses to recognize how incredible it is for black folks to make art and invent things, earn degrees and influence global culture, lead movements, set trends, and raise families and communities, all while under the persistent threat of systematic racism, anti-black violence, and layers of inequity. Mm-hmm. It all seems superhuman. Mm-hmm. Which is a large part of the problem.
Mm-hmm. And it is superhuman.
Yeah.
It is superhuman.
Perception,
It
I
is.
thought, look, like I was talking to Brad. When we, reconnect, I said, yo, bro, I used to work for him. He used to be my boss. You know what I mean?
Hey, yo, what's going on here on this show, man?
Tell the truth, because Brad be like it.
Yo, first of all, yo, what's going? Yo, edit that out. It's sexual.
All right.
Make the colors pop on that
we
part.
all know
some
Brad
special
used to
effect.
do the little showcase events. Yeah. he was giving people a platform for years.
Absolutely.
I did security for him. I was at the door, little big fella. You know what I mean? He's
but I did trust you with the money though. That's a big difference.
That gotta be true. He didn't even breathe.
You know that's a lie. Because Baltimore Bronson too, I make sure I pay all them street debts. I pay all them street debts.
But nah. Real talk. I bring this up because that post has said to me everything that I knew Brett was going through and things that I didn't know he was going through. He was always finding a way to give people a platform. Yep. Basketball, music, whatever.
Football, backyard football we played.
When Spring Valley used to have the basketball games in the joy. I said, that's how far back I remember me and you, bro. Yeah. And I used to just watch him like, yo, son's official. But
lucky
me giving him that praise and seeing that, I don't know what this man's dealing with behind closed doors, what he's dealing with family, what he's dealing with employment. We don't know. So a lot of black and brown people, we struggle and fight every single day to meet somebody.
Every day.
Nobody realizes that.
Yes. Talk about it.
Nobody realizes that.
Facts.
So some days I get mad because somebody won't repost a dope post.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on in their life today. So the best thing I can do is at least give the knowledge and you put it to use when you're available.
Correct.
So sometimes we have to stop trying to hold people accountable and say, oh, they not real right, they not woke. You don't know what they're going through.
You don't know what they're going through. That's facts.
Yeah, I mean, it's just acknowledging that, a lot of times we already working at a deficit.
Yes.
That's a fact. Huge deficit.
A huge deficit. We've just normalized working and doing work at a deficit.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
correct.
That's facts.
Yeah, we all could be here now, like, doing what we do, but I'm, working at a deficit because X, Y, Z is happening.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man.
Yeah, we definitely superhuman. We got that stardust in our melanin. Yes. They don't want us to know that though. We make it work no matter where you put us, no matter what type of situation.
One more
we
thing
make
I
it work.
want to bring. Real talk.
Go ahead.
You ever thought? All right. Unfortunately, shout out to all coaches and communities. Obviously there's been another uptick. Asian American hate crimes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So let me ask you this: if an Indian person, numerous of them, wants to get hurt, what would we call that?
Indian hate crime.
Indian, all right.
That's what they would call it.
That's what they would call
whatever they call it on the news, that's what the world's going to call it.
Whoa, what'd you say?
Whatever they call it on the news, that's what they're going to call
it.
Copy.
If a Russian dude, a few Russians got beat up, what would we call that?
Whatever they call Russian
hate crime.
Russian hate crime.
You know how many people don't know Russia is a part of Asia? I mean, India is a part of Asia, and Russia's the biggest continent in Asia.
Correct. They don't know that.
Again, what you just said to me is whatever the media perpetrates.
Correct.
They're one nation.
Correct.
Yes. Why is it separate?
Yes.
Exactly.
Talk about
when a white person gets hurt, do we call it Caucasian hate crime?
Nope.
Nah, because they don't.
A black person beat up this white person.
Yep.
Yeah.
A Spanish person beat up this. We're the minorities are the only ones that's forced in separation.
Yes.
Correct.
That's forced in isolation.
That's because if we know the truth that we're not really minorities. If you brown, tan, anything, you the same.
That's really.
And then we not the minority.
Let's really talk about it.
But they don't want to talk about
it. In the 50s and 60s, you know what?
Chill, DSP.
They ain't no Jamaica. They ain't no Trinidad. They ain't no. That's all. We all the same. They ain't no Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic.
Oh man, the tie-dye colors got y'all feeling good. Okay, I see y'all out here. Okay, I see y'all out here today. Trust your energy.
I'm aware, bro.
That's bars, by the way.
I only bring that point up to say, we have to be there for each other.
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
Community is community. I don't care what it is.
That's a fact.
We have to be there for each other.
Yep.
Bro, I grew up in the United Nations with Indians on my block, Pakistan, Cambodian, Haitians, Jamaicans, white. But that's what I'm saying. My whole block was
Puerto Rican,
everybody. Dominicans, Puerto Rican, everything was on my block growing up, which was crazy because when I would go visit my family in the Bronx and that whole place is just nothing but Jamaicans, it's like, y'all don't understand what I'm going through up there. Like, y'all the majority right here. Like, it's way different when I come up here and we don't got all these people that look like me to support me to do what we doing. Like, down here, you got strength in numbers. Where I live, it ain't going down like this.
Not so much.
But it's crazy that a 45-minute ride.
Yep.
How crazy is that? One bridge, a 45-minute ride, and the landscape changes.
Just like that.
So imagine what we not seeing.
That's by design, though, bro. The layout, it's all about design.
I mean, I just wanted to say thank y'all brothers for pulling up because What y'all spoke about today? Whew.
Yeah, this is my type of time.
Y'all gotta come back.
That's a fact.
Like Z said.
Now, DSP, you gotta invite them to the platform.
You
gotta let them talk that talk for the whole hour on the platform, DSP.
They are definitely getting the invite to the podcast.
Off camera though.
But yeah, because on the podcast, I could just let them.
Yeah, on the podcast, that's different. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I definitely want them back here.
100.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of the information they're putting out there, a lot of people didn't know about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
you ever heard of an NYPD gang database?
Hold on. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There's so much things. Yo, chill. Oh, you thought that officer in your school was? Oh, my fault. Okay.
Yeah.
No, he's right. But let them know how they can find you and everything.
Yeah, please, man. So first up, I will say, as far as the coalition goes, for folks who's out there, I don't know if folks can see on it. I'm actually going to leave this. But you can join this Clean Slate campaign. At least read up more on it so you know how to
Please do your research.
Sign the petition.
Sign the petition.
Please.
Big
At least
facts.
sign the petition, please.
That petition should go to your local elected officials, and you can tell them that you care about what's going on. You can go to www.cleanslate. That's clean, like Mr. Clean Slate, SLATE.org.
CleanSlateNY.org.
NY.
CleanSlateNY.org.
Yeah, y'all can put it up on the.
Yeah, we got you.
I'll leave this for y'all, but real shit, man. It's
Whoa, $100. Don't worry
about it. I know you got it. What was his title again? We know he got it. We know he got it. Send that cash app.
See, look, that ain't nothing but a first class upgrade on one of your flights.
Send that cash app business.
I'm a real person, man. I'm a human. Real talk, man. I'm a little black boy from the hood.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. We admire the passion, man. Just that it costs you.
Just like the dollars. But listen, www.cleanslateny.org /take-action. The petition's up there. You can see the organization that's sponsoring this bill, that's behind this bill. We've got over 50, if I'm not mistaken. We're still working. You're looking at some of the base buildings. We have a big coalition. Shout out to our team. You know what I mean?
And the reality is that this bill goes nowhere. It goes nowhere if the community is not involved. If those who are directly impacted by something like this is not involved.
That's important.
Right? It's not making noise. The communhe has to make noise about it. Period.
Powerful.
And where can they find you too, brother?
Zaki the Barber, ZAKITHE BARBER on all platforms.
Got you.
And you can find me on Instagram at I am Delron Small. Again, I am Delron Small on Instagram, and Victor Dempsey on Facebook. Please follow me. Please follow the website. And I'm really asking folks to follow me specifically because I answer my inboxes. Inbox me. Hit me up. If you want to know if there's a rally coming up, you want to know how to get involved. If you just need information, holla at me. Real talk.
CleanSlateNY.org. Don't forget. So DSP, I'll let you get the last words before we wrap this up.
I just like I said, man, I gotta give these brothers their flowers because y'all are doing powerful things and keep up the great work. We will definitely be talking on the podcast for sure.
Appreciate it.
And you guys are definitely more than welcome to come back because what y'all doing is very profound.
Powerful.
For sure.
I appreciate it.
So you already know, man.
Yo,
fellas, thank you for pulling up. As always, I'm sure we're going to have you on the platform again because this information is vital to our community.
Yes.
Vital. It's a big difference.
Man. All you got to do is hit the line. We here.
You already.
All right, let's take this photo.
You're ready.
Where coming up next, y'all?